¿Qué pasa, raza? Today on Cruising with Mr. Rabbit, we are launching, I am launching the podcast of Cruising with Mr. Rabbit. This is season 1, episode 1. We are starting today. So I will bring in guests, we're going to be talking about a lot of history, the lifestyle, the culture, the passion of lowriding. It's going to be 100% lowriding. I will be asking tons of questions to our guests that are here in the studio. So be ready for some great, beautiful stories. I can't wait. I already have them lined up. I will be bringing them in little by little. I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 podcasts a month. So we're going to schedule them little by little. I've heard some awesome, beautiful stories just last night, talking with my friend Checho, talking with my friend Garcia, talking with a couple of people from Tijuana, talking to some people here in San Diego, and just the culture, some of the history is just phenomenal. I'll introduce myself first because I am the number one guest, the first guest, not the number one guest, the first guest of today's podcast. My name is Marcos Arellano. We call me Mr. Rabbit. And the passion for me started, let me see, around 1974, 1975. It was the summer of those years. We went to San Jose, California, a town up Northern California, and we went on vacation over there. My mom had a lot of family over there, so we went on vacation. And when we got there to the little town of Alviso in the city of San Jose, my 2 primos, Johnny and Pepe, showed up to welcome us, of course. And they were probably 11, 12 years old, and they had these tricked out bikes that I had never seen. And once we said hi, hey primo, hey, what's up, I asked them, what type of bikes are these? You know, what is this? And they said they're called lowrider bikes, and it's something new that the kids in the neighborhood are doing and stuff. And you know, I hadn't really paid attention on it and stuff, and that's where I picked up the passion for lowriding. And of course, you know, my curiosity just took off. Like, okay, primo, I want one. So my primo Pepe said, well, we have no bikes right now. We have nothing that we can offer you, but if you want, we can look for one around the neighborhood. So I was like, does that mean find one and take one and run? He goes, that is correct. So lo and behold, that night we took off about 6-7 blocks down in this neighborhood looking for a bike. He pulled over and I jumped off his bike, and he said, look, right over there on the side of that house, there's some bikes over there. Run over there and get one. And I was looking, and by the time I turned around, he was gone. I was like, chingado, what do I do now? Do I run because I'm scared, or do I run over there and grab a bike? So what did I do? I ran over there, picked the first bike I can find, grabbed it, jumped on it, and I was flying down the street, not realizing that it had a flat tire. But lo and behold, I caught up to my cousin, and we were laughing all the way to his house. We got there, put it in the backyard right away. We started taking it apart because it was still early at night. But we were home already, and all our parents were inside partying, drinking, eating, whatever, having a good time. We were in the backyard tearing that bike apart. Next morning we sanded it and painted it, and I do remember that we painted it like a dark red and stuff. So you know, that's my passion, I guess, for having a red car, and even in the car club that has the color red and all that. It's followed me all my life, which is great. So that started my passion, of course, and I brought it down to San Diego, California, and more in my neighborhood, I started seeing lowrider bikes, but there was also lowrider models that you would go to Kmart, buying for $5.99, tear them apart, you know, put some bobby pins from the women's hair on the frame, you know, melt them with some plastic spoons, bend them, put a hanger on, a coat hanger, wire on it, put the wheels on it, put the electric motors from those cassette players or wherever we can find those motors, put a rubber band on it, put a little eraser on it, hit it with the battery, and they would make that car jump up and down. And of course, our passion just took off more and more. All of a sudden, there was, in 1977, Lowrider magazine started in the San Jose area, and then it just brought it just a light to a lot of lowriders all over the California. But one thing I have kind of studied and asked questions, as I thought, or I was figuring out that lowriding started here in California somewhere after World War II, and of course during the Vietnam War after that, because a lot of young men came out of the military with a trade. They knew how to weld, they knew how to paint, mechanics, which whether they were on the hydraulics, the motors, but they also knew about fabrication. And when they came home after the service, they got the hand-me-downs from our parents, where our brothers, sisters, uncles, the hand-me-downs, what I mean is the cars that were driven by them, and they didn't want them anymore. They either wanted a newer car, or they were just, here, carnal, or here, take my car. And of course, little by little, the customization started. But here's my crazy thought, because we lived in Tijuana when I was born. I was born in Tijuana, and at a younger age, we moved to the United States, here to San Diego. But my mom and dad still owned a home in Tijuana, and we would go over to Tijuana to go work on that old house because my mom and dad had rented it out, and we would go down there in the early 70s. There was already lowriders down there, and as time went by, I was seeing more and more lowriders. Even their buses were converted into lowriders. They would paint white walls on their tires, paint the undercarriage white with blue or red lights, put dingo balls on it and all that. So how did that start from Northern California, mid California, LA section, in San Diego, and then of course we can't forget Arizona, we can't forget New Mexico, we can't forget other parts of the United States, plus Tijuana. So it's a crazy, your mind just starts going, how did Tijuana find out about it? But yet a lot of people from Los Angeles, LA, and San Diego were taking their cars to Tijuana. They get customized paint jobs, get customized murals, get customized, reverse the trunks, reverse the hoods, suicide the doors, and getting some wild upholstery, the tuck and roll, the biscuit, the coffin look. So there's a lot of history on both sides of the border. And I will be interviewing people from Tijuana, which I'm very excited, because last night I was talking to my good friend Checho, and he was telling me that his dad was, in a car club, Vagabundos, that is from the early 60s. And also my good friend Jesus Chuy from Majito Car Club in Tijuana. He knows a lot of history about the lowriders in Tijuana, cruising Las Playas, Revolucion, and all that. So it's going to be a great show, and it's going to be all about lowriding. And I will tell you that I did have the honor to cruise Whittier Boulevard, of course, Highland Avenue, Las Playas, La Revolucion, and also King's Story. Those boulevards were popping back then. Of course, Boulevard Nights came out. The lowrider scene just blew up. Heartbreaker, Walking Proud. There's so much movies and videos and lowriders. So stay tuned, because we will be bringing all those beautiful stories. And like I said, this is season 1, episode number 1. We started off with me. My name is Mr. Rabbit. I'm the national president of Impala's Car Club. So I'm excited to launch this starting today. So stay tuned. In a week or two, I will have another guest on the show, and we're going to try to put it on Spotify, put it on YouTube, put it on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, and wherever social media can be found, it will be there. So I'm very excited. So stay tuned, Raza, because we are going to be live on these microphones, having a great time, drinking some good beverages, and just enjoying life, having some good laughs, but hearing some of the stories. But I do want to make one thing very clear. These are my stories. These are their stories. They might not be 100% the way you've heard it or the way you know it. But if you know it a different way, give me a call. We'll sit down and talk. Hey, it wasn't all about red cars. It was also a purple car or an orange car. And it didn't start in here. It started over there. Well, my parents brought it from Mexico. My parents brought it from New York. Beautiful stories. Let's hear them. And let's put one and one and one and one together. And so we will come up with. Hola, raza. Thank you very much for watching my videos, checking out my videos, laughing with my videos. Because of you, we keep this going. Gracias.